All right, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and I think it's about time that we take a little bit of a break from the draft because we're diving right back into it with so much draft content. I'm telling you, stay tuned. But I feel like it's time to take a break to give y'all an update on what's going on with the sale because we've gotten quite a bit of recent news. There's an exact quote that says we're almost at the end. There's another quote that says they're treating the Harris group as the final deal. So we're moving to the last stages. Also, the Commander sale is happening in stages and is atypical. This is unlike any other sale process before. So we got to dive into all of that, of course. Also, I want to tell y'all why you'll love Josh Harris. If you haven't been paying attention, man, he's been front and center looking like one of the biggest fans for what the Sixers got going on, the Devils have going on, every team that he owns, man. He's right there. I even have some photos and some video evidence of him being like the biggest fans of his team. And also, we got to talk about how successful his teams are right now. The teams that he's an owner of are both in the playoffs and winning right now. Are the Commanders next? And it's not just him out of the group. I'm going to talk about why we like Magic Johnson and Mitchell Rales as well, and why we should be really excited as Commanders fans. And also, Jason Wright said that Commander sales have skyrocketed since this sell thing has become more inevitable. So we got to dive into all of that and more. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get notification immediately. And every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one, the live stream where we do like the whole draft review and grade and break down together, where I open up the phone lines and y'all call in, you voice your opinions on the draft. You can ask whatever question you may have, and again, I'm gonna have to be strict with the whole 3-minute timer because there's gonna probably be a lot of people calling in. We're probably gonna have to save that until the weekend because I'm completely booked. I have live streams on other channels and stuff tonight and all throughout the week. I have so many videos I need to get done, so we'll probably go ahead and expect it to be like a Saturday or a Sunday, but make sure you stay tuned and be on the lookout for that because again, I'm opening up the phone lines for y'all to call in and you give your grades. I want to give all Commanders fans the opportunity to voice their opinions about the draft and not only just hear from us, the YouTubers and media members and things like that. And also stay tuned because again, after things start to die down, we're going to dive straight into film sessions for all of the players that we drafted and maybe even some notable undrafted free agents like the returner from UCLA, the wide receiver Bryson Tremaine from Stanford, the quarterback Tim DeMorta from Fordham, all of that type of stuff. And without further ado, let's get it.
You tell your family you can be a commander.
All right, so in chronological order, just want to kind of give y'all the updates as they've been coming in. As of April 25th, JP Finley tweeted talking with Michael Phillips about the Commander sale. He said, quote, Josh Harris has bought the house. He just hasn't closed on it. He's going to move in, but doesn't have the keys yet, unquote. So that was really interesting. That was before the draft, and I felt like a lot of people didn't really notice that or talk about it much, but it caught my ear. And then shortly after the draft, we started getting a lot of really interesting news. As of May 1st, just a couple of days ago, the Commander sale keeps moving toward a conclusion with the Josh Harris bid being regarded by the NFL as the final deal. Of course, many won't believe it until it's official. Even them, some will still be leery, but all signs continue to point to the Commander sale. Approaching the finish line. Via frontoffissports.com, the $6.05 billion offer submitted by Josh Harris's group is being treated as the final deal, even though it's technically non-exclusive. Per the report, the league is currently vetting the Harris offer as if it has been announced and submitted for approval. So the NFL is basically like, we're going to assume that this gets voted on by the NFL owners sometime later in May and this gets approved and everything. We're just going to go ahead and move forward with our side of things as if it's going down. Of course, the goal remains for ownership to vote on the Harris purchase next month in Minnesota. This meshes with public comments from current employees of the team. Over the weekend, Coach Ron Rivera accidentally referred to Daniel and Tanya Snyder as former ownership before correcting himself. Last week, team president Jason Wright told Pat McAfee, "We are almost to the end of it," unquote. Also, as of yesterday, May 2nd, there was a report that said positive update on the Commander sale. It seems as if Josh Harris's ownership group is in the final stages before their purchase of the Washington Commanders from Dan Snyder is officially confirmed. The $6.05 billion deal is an NFL record. It marks the end of what turned out to be a disastrous spell in charge for the disgraced figure spanning more than 2 decades. AJ Perez of Front Office Sports provided another positive report recently saying that the Harris Group bid was being treated as final. The writer, who's been at the forefront of developments throughout, provided fans with a timeline of what may occur next before the long-awaited league approval becomes public knowledge. Quote, sources told Front Office Sports that Harris's bid is being treated as if the sale agreement were final. When a new ownership agreement is submitted, league staffers, sometimes with the help of an outside firm, conduct financial and criminal background checks of the would-be controlling owner and any limited partners. According to sources, the review is expected to conclude ahead of a regularly scheduled meeting of the NFL Finance Committee on May 10th. Minus any setbacks, a full ownership vote could be scheduled at any time for the next owners meeting in Minnesota on May 22nd. So there you go. Everything should be finalized, at least for the vast majority of it, by May 22nd. So May 10th, we're going to get some crazy information that comes out, some more like this is happening, we're almost done news, and then May 22nd, the owners should vote on it, and then we should be scot-free, man. Some obviously remain somewhat skeptical, considering how difficult Snyder can be, but it looks like we are now firmly in the end game before a new era begins for the Commanders. Harris has proven credentials when it comes to successfully running sports franchises. Again, we're going to talk about that later. The same applies to Magic Johnson, a small stakeholder who should provide the charisma, accountability, and leadership that was sorely missing under Snyder. I agree with that as well. Everything is going smoothly, which should be music to every Commanders fan. I mean, of course, it's just always going to be that one person, but you never know. Then there was a report via Mark Mask of the Washington Post saying that the sale of the Commanders may veer from the traditional ratification process. This one may be approved in stages. That came out later on during the day in May 2nd. And these stages will begin as soon as this month. So that's what we were talking about with the May 10th situation, the May 22nd, all of that. But the Washington Post article by Mark Mask and Nikki Javala dives a little bit deeper into it. Under NFL rules, any sale must be approved by at least 24 of the 32 team owners. The owners are scheduled to meet May 22nd and May 23rd in Minneapolis, 2 days in a row. The NFL, the Commanders, and Harris's group declined to comment on Tuesday, though. The people familiar with the NFL's inner workings called the process the league is following in potentially ratifying Harris's deal unusual. The deviations from the league's normal procedures are being necessitated by the unique circumstances surrounding Snyder and the Commanders, they said. Usually, once an owner announces an agreement to sell a franchise, the deal is vetted by the owners on the NFL's Finance Committee, which makes a recommendation to the 32 owners, and a final ratification vote is taken. No preliminary approval is given. When a group led by Walmart heir Rob Walton purchased the Denver Broncos last year from the Pat Bowlen Trust for $4.65 billion, the process took about 2 months. In that case, the deal was struck and announced in June, and the NFL called a special owners meeting in August in Minneapolis for the sale to be approved. In this case, the sale is taking place with Snyder and the Commanders being investigated by the NFL for a second time. So all of the chaos with Snyder is what's causing all of this to be a little weird and unique to, the normal sale process that happens with any NFL team. Snyder and the team also are facing a federal investigation in the Eastern District of Virginia. The Commanders reached settlements with the attorneys general of D.C. and Maryland over allegations of improperly withholding deposits from ticket holders without admitting to the allegations. The attorney general in Virginia also is investigating the team. It's just so much chaos on Snyder's side, it's ridiculous. Can't wait to be done with it. The NFL's current investigation of Snyder and the Commanders is being conducted by attorney Mary Jo White. Snyder has declined to be interviewed by White for the investigation, which is just crazy that he's even allowed to do that. 3 people with direct knowledge of the league's inner working said in March. White was expected to make at least one more attempt before completing her investigation. According to one of those people, the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the league will release White's findings publicly, even if Snyder sells the team. It is not known to what extent the Harris Group might indemnify Snyder against any legal liability and cost as part of the tentative sale agreement. Since February, multiple people with direct knowledge of the league's inner workings have said that Snyder was seeking such indemnification from a buyer or from the league and other team owners. The Commander said in February that such depictions were inaccurate. So Snyder's out here trying to run clean from all of the legal troubles that we just listed, and the NFL and everybody else is basically like, nah, we're good. Maybe Josh Harris will give him some, but the NFL and the other owners are like, nah, go ahead and take your punishment. The owners have paused any consideration of moving Snyder from ownership of the Commanders while waiting to see what occurs with the sale. Two people with direct knowledge of the league's inner workings and the owners' viewers said in March. Given those issues, the NFL's approval process appears to be following a unique course for this sale. Harris's unsigned non-exclusive deal with Snyder was submitted to the league for an informal review last month, and of course, everything that they said was good, like no major issues, only minor things that need to be tweaked that shouldn't stop the sale from happening. If the owners give preliminary approval to the deal at their Minneapolis meeting, final ratification could be given in the coming months, perhaps at a special meeting in August. It is not clear how much authority or input Harris would be given in the team's operations, if any, in the meantime, though. So that's really interesting. So basically, even if he does officially buy the team by May, June, or whatever, we're not exactly sure how much direct power and control he will have until everything is officially final in August, which kind of sucks because Josh Harris may not be able to make immediate big changes that we're hoping for as fans, like as far as stadium plans and things like that, until we're already through training camp for the most part. Also, just to let you know though, given that Harris's deal with Snyder is non-exclusive, it does not prohibit other bidders from attempting to buy the team. At least one rival bidder, Canadian real estate developer and private equity executive Steve, dang, I just practiced his name and had it down. Now I gotta relearn it. What was it? Apostolopoulos? Yes sir, got it. Remained active in the bidding, a person with knowledge of the sale said last month. So, I mean, it looks like we're treating everything as if Josh Harris and those guys are going to get it. It's just more of a matter of when, and not if, but we still kind of got to see what's going on with other people trying to potentially come in and bid. I mean, you're going to have to outbid them. They already have the 6.05 that the NFL basically approved of. If you're going to come in and try to outbid them, you're going to have to raise the offer significantly for them to repeat this entire process again, especially. Also, Commanders president Jason Wright reveals that Washington sold a season's worth of suites in only a week when it became known that Dan Snyder would be selling the team. Sounds like that fan base could be rejuvenated and pack that stadium up like they used to. Ticket sales and filling up the stadium have been a huge issue in Washington for a while, but that could change now, and that is huge, man. We haven't had home field advantage in a very long time, man. I am really excited. I'm super excited about that. I may have to find a way to go out to the DMV and go to a game, because if the Commanders are finally deep enough to where we can have some home field advantage, y'all got to think, man, we be playing 16 games a season, now 17 games a season, all of them pretty much away games, especially if it's like a division rival like the Cowboys, the Giants, or the Eagles. They will travel, and Commanders fans, a lot of them for the most part, have been boycotting against Dan Snyder, not even just the losing itself, but Dan Snyder specifically. So with him gone, and with us having hope, bringing in Eric Bieniemy, having a new quarterback with some talent, all kinds of things that make you optimistic about where this organization is going, especially this team on and off the field. I can see why fans are buying in, and we may have some home field advantage. I know I keep saying it, but that, I mean, other NFL teams are spoiled. They usually have home field advantage. They don't even think about the fact that that could not be a thing. But us as Commanders fans, we know very well, Redskins fans, Washington football team, Commanders fans, all of that, we know very well that a home game does not automatically mean that you're going to dominate the stadium. It may even be less than 50-50. You may honestly have less Commanders fans than the other team, which is just absolutely terrible, but I'm glad we're moving on from that. Now, I want to also talk about why you will love the Josh Harris group with him, Mitchell Rales, Magic Johnson, all of those guys. First of all, Josh Harris-wise, JP Finley pointed this out. Here's something for Commanders fans to be thrilled about. Josh Harris owns the Sixers and Devils, both playoff teams. 76ers already in the second round. The Devils play a Game 7 tonight to go to the second round, which they ended up winning. Harris knows how to run pro sports teams and soon will run one in DC, which is very exciting. It's also been statistically proven that he's one of the top 3 owners in basketball as far as paying his coaches. Like his coaching staff, players, and all of that, they get the money. He does not mind spending his own money for his team to be successful, and that's huge, man, because some owners kind of just play it safe and do the bare minimum of owning the team. Josh Harris wants to win, and he's getting results. Again, the 76ers, as of May 1st, won at the Celtics to take a 1-0 lead in the second round of the NBA playoffs, and they play again tonight at 8 p.m., which is going to be really interesting. Also, Josh Harris's Devils beat the Rangers in a Game 7 in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So what is Josh Harris going to do with the Commanders? I mean, I feel like already getting rid of Dan Snyder is going to be an improvement, but Josh Harris is also one of the better owners that you could potentially get, so there's going to be a huge step of improvement improvement. And I'm really excited because, again, he's not stingy. He's not petty. He is going to spend that money. If you're a great coach, he's willing to pay you to come in and be a great coach. If you're a great player, he's going to give you that money. Now, the NBA is a little bit different than the NFL because you can offer supermax contracts and things like that and pay the luxury tax if you want to go over the salary cap. The NFL, under no circumstances, you go over the salary cap. So he'll be a little bit more restricted NFL-wise than he is in the NBA. But still, that is a guy that's willing to pay his guys. And most importantly, at the very least, he's going to be willing to give his coaches the money that they want. Because I feel like the Commanders, even ignoring Dan Snyder's tyranny, I feel like a lot of the times we missed out on great coaches even before we hired Ron Rivera and guys like that, and even Eric Bieniemy, was the fact that we just didn't probably offer as much money as other teams. We don't have to worry about that with Josh Harris. At least that's one thing we do not have to worry about. And then also, May 1st at night, Devils owner Josh Harris got out of his car and was giving high fives to all of the fans outside. He was jumping and was so excited and everything. Thanked all of the Devils fans for sticking with the team through the tough times and all of that. And that's the picture that you see on the screen right now. And then there's also a video from the same night showing how much love he was showing the fans.
Thank you, darling.
Josh, did you get a selfie? Josh, it's his bar mitzvah. Can you get a picture with you right here? Oh, yeah. Thank you for getting us. Thank you.
I mean, this guy's out there as if he's not a billionaire with the fans getting hype, slapping hands and everything, man. I just absolutely love it. This guy loves the team. Similar to the current Clippers owner, I mean, he's going to be one of those guys that's always there, like Mark Cuban, all of those type of guys. Guys that own the team and would love to be at the games whenever they can and are cheering for the team as if they're literally like a fan like the rest of us. Also, Mitchell Rales, what I love about him is that he will not clash with Josh Harris. Josh Harris is like the owner. He's the face and everything, and he's going to be the guy out there with all of the fans, hyping up everybody, jumping up and down, slapping hands and things like that, getting hype with everybody, tailgating, all that type of stuff, being courtside, loving the game and everything like that, cheering his teams on. Mitchell Rales, on the other hand, is like, I'm just going to give my money. I'm going to play the background. You make the majority of the decisions. I'm just putting my money in it, and I'm staying out the way. And I feel like that's a really good complimentary owner to what Josh Harris has going on as far as his personality and his preferences and things like that. And for Mitchell Rales to be the second majority owner is Josh Harris, then Mitchell Rales, and then everybody else as far as percentage of ownership, I love that right there. Let Josh Harris be the face and everything. Mitchell Rales just wants to just contribute how he can and stay out the way and not cause any troubles or get in the way. Also, you got to remember Mitchell Rales and Josh Harris are both DMV guys, so if anything, they're going to root for the Commanders even more than Josh Harris roots for his own Devils that are in the playoffs right now, and the 76ers that are also winning games in the playoffs. So I'm really excited about that. And then, of course, you can't forget about Magic Johnson. I mean, of course, he's the minority owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Major League Soccer's Los Angeles FC, and the WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks. But of course, like we mentioned earlier briefly, his charisma and even just the super obvious tweets that he does, man, I can't wait to get those extremely obvious tweets where he tweets things so simple like the Commanders need to score here and things like that when it's obvious we need to score. We're down 2 with 2 minutes left. I mean, it's just super Captain Obvious stuff, but we all love it. The fans of his teams eat it up, and I'm pretty sure we're going to do the same. And so I can't wait, man. And Magic Johnson's going to be the one that's able to sweet talk the media and make everything seem fine, even if it's not, and things like that. So he's going to be a great addition as well. And everybody else that's part of it, I can't wait to finally hear and see, get the official news on everybody that's involved, because apparently there's like 17 people involved. Can't wait to hear that, but I'm pretty sure a lot of those people will contribute good things as well. I'm pretty sure it's not, because I feel like we would have heard about it by now, but I'm hoping somebody that's a super fan like KD is involved, but I'm not exactly sure. I doubt it. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please leave a like in this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. Shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now. Again, let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video with the process. How do you feel about Josh Harris and his group, Mitchell Rales, Magic Johnson, as potential owners for this group? Are you excited? All of that type of stuff. And without further ado, I'm going to catch y'all later. I'm out.